Okay, it's time to finish up the game. Before the final confrontation, I'll talk to Arnax.
What may I do for you?
Some
What is it that you wish of
questions.
me, then?
Kurgan, Vendigrath, Black Mountain Clan. Let's start with the Vendigrath. Why did you destroy? No, Black Mountain Clan. Does he even know about them?
I do not know. I would assume the gate they are building is located somewhere near Kurgan's castle, though. What
Okay.
is it that you wish of me, then?
Why did you destroy Vendigrath?
When they began constructing their device to protect themselves from my unprovoked attacks, I lashed out without thinking and destroyed them all. My fear of what technology could bring was so pervasive, I never thought there was any other solution.
You sound as if you regret your actions.
Most certainly. I've had 2,000 years of my grievous errors and judgment replaying them. What is it
We'll
that you wish of me, then?
listen to that before. What happened between you and Gergen when you got here?
When I first came here and realized what he was becoming, I attempted to stop. I was a bit full of myself back then. All the damage and death I had caused had not even scratched the surface of my conscience at the time. Full of blind rage and arrogance, I was.
Yeah. So he just attacked him. There's not much of a conversation there, so let's get to the Kurgan. I think I'll drink one of these potions beforehand. If it runs out, we can easily drink another. So this is it.
Greetings. Long have I waited for your arrival, and finally this moment has come. I am Kurgan, first of the necromancers, voyager in the lands of the dead.
I see, not exactly the person I originally expected.
I would think not. Although the presence of Aranax tells me you already know much of my tale. At least as much as he deemed necessary in order to bring you into his confidence.
I'd hate to impose, but you could tell me what's going on here.
Very well. Hear my story and decide for yourself. I know that your road has been long, as has my own. Perhaps we might yet see eye to eye.
Enjoy these words, they'll be your last.
In Arcanum, I was a mage of great power. The only human to ever sit on the great Elven Council. For 200 years I studied the magics of necromancy, the arts of physical and spiritual healing, the resurrection of the souls of the dead.
So what happened?
Perhaps it is just the way of humans. But what I had seen and learned was not enough. I craved knowledge, felt the shadow of my own mortality. And so, I looked deeper, and the secrets of black necromancy were shown to me. And I reveled in the truths I had uncovered, and I shared them with the council.
Only a monster such as you would see such evil as truth. I'm guessing your alignment determines your options here. Still, it sucks for role-playing purposes that the game decides for you what to say.
That sad puppet council. They didn't know what to think, and how could they? These were new discoveries. There were no precedents. And they listened to Aranax over the voice of their own reason.
What do you mean? What does Aranax have to do with this?
Aranax. From the very beginning he hated me. Son of Nazrudin, proud elven heir to the leadership of the council. He saw my presence on the council as a travesty, a dishonor to the ways of magic. He waited for an opportunity to defame me, and when it came, he viciously attacked.
What happened?
My studies were of the souls of the dead. Once I had seen the darker side of necromancy, I began to speak with those souls, to animate the soulless, to quench the lives of the living.
Can't you see how some might see those actions as evil?
The bodies I experimented upon were already dead. If I raised their souls to again quench them, who is to say I didn't have the right? I'm no monster. I know that the line between good and evil is a gray one, and perhaps all of my actions weren't necessarily pure. But I never killed a living soul.
You have a point, but there may be holes in your logic.
And who are you or they to judge me? And banishment? Banishment for some questionable experiments? The Council was prepared to exile me, to throw me out of their number. But no. The jealousy of Aranax turned them against me, forced their hand. His words became the evidence against me, and they sentenced me to the void.
And eventually Arnex was sent here as well.
Yes, for the same crime on a grander scale. And when we met here in the void, I had become so much more powerful than he. And again, he feared my words, and he made war against me. And now he is in chains, and this void has truly become his prison. Not so for me.
What do you mean?
In your world, your Arcanum, I was powerful. Perhaps the most powerful human magicka who has ever been. But to humans, cursed with our shortness of life, our brevity, what is this power? What can be learned in that impermanent spark that is our lives? Nothing. But here, in this so-called prison, there are no limits. There is no end.
I don't understand.
This place, this void, has no time as you know it. I've been here for more than 2,000 of your years, and yet I've aged not at all. I feel as I did the moment they sent me here, or as when the Dark Elves first called to me. Do you now see? Here I can do everything I did in your world, but I am unfettered by the chains of mortality that time hangs upon us.
But the Dark Elves thought they were calling to Aranax.
Yes, I know. Ironic, isn't it? It was on my ears that their feeble and pathetic cries had fallen. To me, Kurgan, who had defeated their master and thrown him in chains. Kurgan, who had manipulated them into subverting the Bonari and weakening the wards. Kurgan, who used them to send me the dwarves of the Black Mountain clan, who have now finished the bridge back to Arcanum.
But why? If you like it here so much, then leave us alone.
I truly wish I could. My reasons for returning aren't what you'd think. I had no aspirations for power or domination like your companion Aranax did. Aspirations that I became the victim of. No. Those are the motivations of the living, and I no longer place myself among them.
Then what is it you want?
If only I could show you the places I've seen, you might understand the things I say. I've been to the desolate lands, wandered by those souls who still see the lands of the living, but wear the cloak of the dead. Blind to their own ends, they cry, passing through one another like shadows in the dying light of day. I've traveled to where souls rot in torment, pierced with the jagged shards of life and vision, clinging to memory, regrets of the flesh. I saw that this prison was of their own making, and the key was in unknowing, in release. And still, I traveled on. And finally, I came to the place where souls go to die, where the mirrored and worn spirits fall into an endless sea of gray, mirrored glass. And I lowered myself within and lay there among them, and I almost did not return. And do you know what I found there? There, among the silent and battered shells of the innumerable? Peace, enlightenment, truth. Only then did I realize that this place, this life, is an abomination, a horrible distortion of the natural order. This life, who mothered pain and fear and envy, these twisted children who exist only because we are here to feed them, to nourish them. This life, this afterthought, a disturbance, a mere ripple in that great, dead sea, not even the cause, but merely an effect, sending these souls upward, screaming for release from the day they are torn from their waters. The effect of what? I do not know, nor do I care. Have you ever spoken with the dead, called to them from this side, pulled them from their silent rest? Do you know what it is that they feel? Pain. Pain when torn into this wakefulness, this reminder of the chaos from which they had escaped. Pain at having to live. There will be no more pain. There will be no more chaos. Tattered and spent. Do you feel its pull? Do you hear its wailing? It is within my power to calm these waters, and that is what I shall do.
What do you mean, calm these waters?
I can no longer tolerate the atrocities that this thing, this life has brought about. There will be peace. There will be quiet. Life will no longer be. And so I go to Arcanum to be an end to it. And then I will join the souls of the dead when it is done.
Yeah, interesting point of view. I can see the merit it holds.
And why not? I realize that you follow the way of the righteous, or at least that's the role you've decided to play. But you've yet to see the other side. Follow me, and I'll show you things you've never imagined.
Yeah, that's not going to happen. I'll not turn back now. You're going to die, Kurgan.
Very well. I shall send you to that great dead sea, and then you shall know.
49 points of speed. I do want to take a look at Kurgan. 1300 life, 162 points of fatigue. That's not much. He isn't that quick, easy to hit. Low magic and fire resistance. He knows no spells, so he has some other special abilities he'll use. Okay, we can't use the Vendigraft device on him now. Need to spread apart a bit. Everyone attack him. We need to do a massive amount of damage to him. Also try to bind him down. It's in a very odd looking shape. I think I'll leave it at that for now. See what happens. Yep. Yeah, that looks ridiculous. Oh my god. Yeah, he can take a ton of damage. I wonder if we can use these. Oh, Mr. Demon. Those are the important ones. At least we'll spam some basic attack spell on him. Something that'll do damage. Yeah, he's gonna take some damage. This won't take long. And I'll use a recovery item. Ah, he's summoning creatures. That's too little too late. He's taking a massive beating. Yeah. He's dead. This is the end. Fire Flash. Cannot see the target. We'll have to end the turn, I think. So he'll do what he's gonna do. Okay, now regenerative shell. He's immune to damage. Now we need the Vendigroth device to end it all.
Because you delivered the secret ingredient to Jungle Dun, he perfected his alchemical process and eventually found a way to make gold from common lead. Needless to say, he became the richest man in all of Arcanum. The defeat of Lucan and his henchmen, coupled with your freeing of the ghost of Bessie Toon, enabled Shrouded Hills to grow and become a thriving community once again. A new silver vein is discovered in the old Bessie Toon mine. Workers pour into town by the dozens, and within a few years, Shrouded Hills is a bustling boomtown. Such towns often have problems keeping the peace. Shrouded Hills has no such trouble, mainly due to the efforts of their new sheriff, Doc Roberts. Maximilian was returned to Dernholm, and all of Cumbria rejoiced in the return of their rightful king. Under the new rule of Maximilian, Cumbria quickly grew into a powerful nation, embracing both magic and technology. And once again, the proud banner of the Dragon Knights flew from the ramparts of Dernholm Castle, set there by their new captain, Liana Peldar. Loghaire Thunderstone never returned to his people.
and a distraught and confused Ranver assumed leadership over the Wheel clan. Without the strong king, the Dwarven clan splintered, and a bloody war followed. In time, Ranver gathered enough followers to put an end to the conflict, but the dwarves were never the same again, secluding themselves forever from the outside world. The Beducan continued to live in the dark fens, fighting here and there with loggers and poachers, but mainly keeping to themselves. They continued to live the primitive lives of nomad hunters, and they never spoke with the elves of Gintara again.
Okay, and that was Arcanum. A mixed experience, to say the least. The concept, some of the mechanics with the magic versus technology. I do like the character building also. So there are several very strong areas in this game, fundamental areas. On the other hand, there are also quite a few weaknesses and sources of annoyance. The good character building opportunities don't really come that well in the actual game as in role-playing options. You're limited to very often to good and bad only. It's not a terrible set of options, but it's very limiting when compared to the competition. The AI is absolutely retarded. Again, very common in some of these older games, but the games that don't suffer from that are usually one of the better ones, classic games. But it's extremely frustrating when they don't follow your orders even when you give manual orders. There are some conditions where they do them, but there are others where they totally ignore them. So what's the point of having manual override commands when the automatic behavior will override those? It leads to so many frustrating situations. Also, the one thing that annoys me greatly is the magic user allies using their fists. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely unforgivable, making them largely useless. Then the inventory management, having to find out what stores you can use and what not. Very tedious in many respects, and a lot of the loot you find is absolute trash or a burden to you even. That's also something I don't get. They might have some specialty uses, but most of all you just throw them all away because they're so terrible. Best items, with a few exceptions, can be bought right from the store. So yeah, I don't want to go on and on too much about this game or my little grievances, but yeah, it's a mixed bag. Some very good sides, some very bad ones. So on the plus side, I just finished the game and I would want to try it again on more of a technology-based character and more evil, just to experience a lot of the other options I had missed and were available. So that's a good mark for a game. On the other hand, I don't want to deal with a lot of the crap I had to deal with. Again, terrible AI, just thinking about it. Inventory management I'd had to do with if I played a technology character, because with the mage we could ignore looting a lot of the trash with the technology. guy, we couldn't, because that's the whole thing you do. You collect things and turn them into weapons, buffing items, healing items, resurrection items, dead animators items, grenades, flashlights, new armor. That's the whole thing of that technology focused character. So yeah, conflicted. I can see why someone would love this game, but if you play this for 10 minutes and never want to touch it again, I can see that too. It is a classic at least, and very different, I have to say. It mostly resembles Fallout games in many ways, but not quite. It's very unique. I've never played a game quite like this before, and I'd say most of the gameplay problems would be very easily fixable. So that's its problem, that's its weakness, but on the downside they didn't fix it. So it's the mixed bag that it is. Still worth playing through at least once.